Good morning, and welcome to USS Texas Day. Yeah, the Texas has been getting a lot of interesting press lately, hasn't it? Okay. Oh, and by the way, the decks still have not pancaked down like that museum creator said they would. Now, granted, I think he was speaking of maybe over thousands of years. And in thousands, and give it enough time, even the pyramids are going to pancake down. Anyway, I do understand what he was getting at, but I think he went a little bit overboard. That's my unprofessional opinion. But I think it's the opinion of a lot of other people as well. I think a lot of folks that say, oh, they're going to, it's going to slowly collapse, they haven't really thought that through. Yes, it will in over thousands and thousands of years, but not in my lifetime, that's for sure. Now, what happened here yesterday? Well, the last time I saw you, I had just started the railing on this side. Our ship had been turned around. And I was working my way back, and I was just starting on the first section. Well, since then, I've gone all the way around, and last night I got back to the bow. We haven't quite finished it yet. We'll move in a little bit and try and finish it off. I've got an idea that I should have done when I started, and I didn't do. But anyway, let's roll back. Oh, by the way, the sunrise this morning. Well, it looked promising at first, and then it just grayed out. Now, I know that right now the sun is shining, and it's the clouds have dispersed, so it might be nice. Got a comment from Ari in Holland, and he said that he slept through the sunrise because he couldn't see it. It was raining, and so I commented back to him, and I said that, if we don't get the rain, the tulips won't grow. And as everybody knows, or most everybody, Holland is famous for their tulips. My wife actually came from Holland. She came over with her family when to Winnipeg here when she was 5 years old. Didn't speak a word of English. Yeah, when I married into that family, she was the youngest. And when I married in, all her other siblings and her mom and dad, they all conversed in Dutch. And I'd go over there to visit, and of course they'd rattle off in Dutch, and I didn't speak a word of Dutch. Then they'd remember, and they'd switch to English. It was interesting. I wish I could turn the clock back to those days, but that's life, Gotta keep going. Now, speaking of keeping going, let's roll back. Okay, here is what's been happening. I have got the railing on all the way from the bow on this side, and I'm just starting back up on the other side. I've been doing it the way you saw it being done in the last episode, just using the steady rests, and it was a little bit, you might say, iffy getting it around at the right radius here, going around the stern, because I didn't go up to the ensign flag staff like I did on the bow. I made it round here. And maybe I'll reposition and I'll just show you. One more thing. About 47 minutes ago, yesterday's episode uploaded onto YouTube, or YouTube released it, and I noticed that I don't know if it still is, but it wasn't in 4K. It was just in standard definition. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe it's because it was over 40 minutes long, and I didn't upload it until about 2:30 in the afternoon, and maybe YouTube hasn't had the time to do the final processing. I know I think it was day before yesterday, uploaded an 8K video onto YouTube, and it never went into 8K. It was sort of a test, something you wouldn't want to be bothered seeing. And so I uploaded it again, and the one that I uploaded the second time did finally kick into 8K. So YouTube seems to be having problems again, and they were doing so good for about a month. Yeah, well, since the last time I complained about it, I guess. So maybe this episode will be a little shorter. Maybe I'll get it uploaded a little bit earlier. Anyway, I'm just going to carefully turn our Rodney around here now and work my way up to the bow on the, what would that be, the port side. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I think that probably the railing should be on by the time we get to the end of this episode. I don't know if we'll start any rigging or not. There is a lot of little pieces we got to put on yet. So, you know, I have a feeling like I want to reach for them to show you, but sure as shooting, I'll break something off, so I won't reach. Anyway, we're getting there. Now I was getting all ready here to turn our Rodney around and go up the other side with our railing, and then I remembered that I had mentioned that I was going to recompose so that you could see what I had done here. So you can see I got a nice round radius on the stern here. I think that looks okay. I realize that the posts aren't symmetrical, but I don't think anybody's going to notice that. I finally made it. I've been all the way around, back up to the bow. There is a little bit more to do here, and actually we're not out of the woods yet with the railing. I've got to go around again with the paintbrush and touch up where the CA glue is glinting, which is almost everywhere. So I've got to do the 66 along the top of the gunnel, and then maybe I'm going to have to take the 77 and touch up the railing in certain places. So like I say, we're not done yet, but we're almost done here. I think this will hold. I got this this clip on here for to make it a little heavier. I was finding that it just wasn't heavy, pressing the railing down onto the gunnel hard enough. Okay, so what's happened is there is one complete length of railing left. This one here, that's probably about 4 or 5 millimeters too long. So I've folded it around. We'll look at that in the morning. I'm going to have to cut it off, and I've had this thing on. I've probably got lines on my nose here. Yeah. About 10 to 9. It actually, it went not too bad. For some reason, the second side was harder to do than the first side. I don't know why. I thought I'd be more, you know, in the groove, but I wasn't. Well, we're not going to, this is not much of a rollback, is it? No, I didn't do any videoing, hardly at all, of putting the railing on after I got going. So, I think that's it for pizza day. We'll see you in the morning.
Okay, it is morning.
Now, a moment ago I looked in my monitor and I could see the phone is on the other side of the ship here, and I was thinking, you know, that may not be a very good idea, because if it rings and I see on the call display it's somebody I actually want to talk to, and I'm, without thinking, reach across and catch my railing. Oh, okay, you get the idea. Now, I had been saying something about that I had a better idea, but it's too late now. Well, this was the better idea. What I should have done yesterday when I started out was to take my railing and find the center point and then bend it back around. See if I can do this here. I don't want to do this, but I could have maybe bent it like this, and it would have been all one piece, and then the post would have been symmetrical all the way back because it would have been exactly in half. But like I say, well, at least I should have said, hindsight is a lot clearer than foresight. So yeah, now what we're going to need to do here, let me get this back in the tube here. I might be able to use this in certain places on the superstructure yet, but I don't think so. I think we're pretty much done. Okay. Now, you can see here. I'll put the macro lens on. I've got to do something here. I've actually got it glued on. That was what I did. The last thing I did last night. I was gluing the where the railing went around on the flagstaff here, and but we got to nip that off. So that's going to be a little bit tricky. I'll put the macro lens on for that. Okay, I'm going to remove our wire safety hoop here and try and remember that I don't want to be bumping the top of this thing. And this way I can use where the right hand side where the wire was in the frame as a steady rest. And I don't know if I can get in there close enough. This is I'm wondering, would it be better if I was to come down like this and just try and nip? I don't want to break it off. 1, 2. I guess I could maybe bend that out of the way. Just a little bit there. I don't need those anymore. My angle is not good. All right. Now, where's something that I can, it's kind of flat here. I'm going to hold it from the back a little bit. Now, I don't think there's a whole lot I can do with that. I think that what I'll do is maybe this bottom one here, I could shove it in just a little bit. Or maybe not. Maybe it's, no, it's CA'd. It's CA'd to, okay, so what I'll just do is I will touch up this might not be a good idea. Just trying to take off the sharp edges here. It's probably not working. Okay, you know what? At arm's length, we're not going to see it. And the side that we are going to be viewing the Rodney from, and when it's in the case, is from this side right here. So, okay, I think I've done about as good as I can do there, except for touching it up later with probably the, well, maybe the NATO black would be the best. Now, I'm just putting a little bit of CA thin on here. When I started doing the railing yesterday, I started out using the Bob Smith Industries, the extra thin CA, and I was finding it was just too liquidy. So the reason I'm doing this is just so that when I paint over it, it's not going to have a whole bunch of sharp edges sticking out. At least that's the plan. I think that this will probably be okay. And you can see along here where the top of the gunnel is. Okay, now the places like right here, there's CA, and that's really shining. Let me look in the monitor. Yeah, you can sort of see it, but if the light hits it right, it's almost like a light is on the deck. So I got to go around the top of the gunnels with my little brush and the number 66, and that would mean that the bottom rail of our railing would also be 66N, because it's gonna, I just can't. I think I need a little bit more right here. Okay, let's leave well enough alone here. Okay, as I keep saying, that'll help, but it's no guarantee. Now, one of the nice things about having a really big model table like I've got, and I'm sure most of you know, it's a 4 foot by 8 foot sheet of plywood, is that if I'm careful, I can move this model around pretty good. My problem right now is that I've got a lot of junk that I'm going to have to clean up here. I have a tendency to use a tool and then just sort of lay it where I'm through with it, instead of putting it back in its special place. Okay, now the reason I'm going to start painting here at the stern is because just a few moments ago I put CA glue on the bow. So I want to let that have lots of time to cure. I'm just going to start my way at the back here and work my way to the front. At least that's the plan. And then we'll swing it around and do the other side. Now, I don't know how much of this I'm going to do on video, because it's pretty tedious. I'm guessing it's going to take me about at least an hour to do, maybe more, because I want to try and be careful not to get it onto the deck tan, and also I don't want to get it up onto the railing, which is the 77. Yeah, I'm going to be using the 66 along the sides here. Okay, let's recompose here. Let's clean this mess up first. Okay, so I got a comment from military modeler Paul, and he was talking about how he was getting himself a pair of micro tweezers. And I was mentioning how the ones that I made work really well, and the only thing wrong with them, or something to that effect, is that I end up putting them in with all the others, and they blend right in. It's too difficult to be able to see, which, the ones that have the real fine points. The rest of them, they're all too thick for bending the stairs. You remember when I was trying to bend the steps, I couldn't get the other tweezers in, or these ones in, but then when I narrowed them down, it worked pretty good. Problem is, like I say, I can't tell, separate, keep them separate. And I also can't talk and work at the same time, can I? Okay. Well, we're going to fix that problem. Now, I know somebody's probably going to say, well, why didn't you just put some taper on them? And I was going to do that. And then I remembered how what ends up happening is the tape ends up peeling off over time. So we're just going to put some yellow on here. I wiped these off with isopropyl a few minutes ago, so I think the paint's probably going to stick pretty good. I'm just going to put one heavy coat on. You know, this doesn't have to be a thing of beauty, does it? Let's make sure it's good and thick. We should be able to spot that, right? Even with one eye shut. Okay, let's get cleaned up here. Now, speaking of bending steps on our ladders, where is the ladders that I thought we had to put on the sides here? I thought that I remember talking about this several times during this build and saying how I was going to save it for last. You know what? This must have been on the hood that we had ladders on the outside. And I thought, okay, we are a lot closer to being done than I thought. Yeah, after I get the gunnels painted here, and okay, and we got birds at the bird feeder. Nice. Alright, now, I know you can't see back here too good, but I'm just going up to and including the rail. Maybe I should be using my smaller brush, but I don't think so. I think this one's going to work okay. This is going to be a slow process. Now I don't want to go over top and have it run down the other side. I'm just trying to cover up. Okay, where did I leave off? Right there. Now this should blend in with the paint that's on the side of the hull, because it's the same paint. The only difference is okay. See, I want to try and get this paint over top of the gunnel, where the CA glue is. My light is not too good right here. I can't really see too good. Okay. I think this is going to be better. Yeah, because once this paint dries, it will flatten out, and we won't be seeing any what looks like wet paint. Okay, I'm going to have to continue on without the camera. Okay, I'm guessing a little better than halfway up from the stern, and I just cleaned out my brush here. It was starting to get a little bit caked up, and let's see if we can do a little bit more videoing here. What I'm doing is I'm letting it, you might say, flood right across the top of the gunnel and up to the edge of the bottom rail. But so far, there's only one place where I actually accidentally touched one of the upper rails. And I'll just touch that up later on. I'm just going to have to reposition here a little bit. Okay, I had dropped my chair down just a little bit too low. Now I'm looking at it more from above. I think I stuck my brush in a little bit too far that time. Okay, where did I leave off here? Now where the bollards and fairleads are, that's where it seems to be the most difficult to do. Like right here. I realize that right now you're kind of getting out of the view. But once this dries flat, it's going to cover up the glint from the CA glue, as I've said way too many times. Okay, let's just put it on pause here. And I'm thinking that maybe what I should be doing here is closing today's episode off. It's probably going to take me another hour or so to go around all the way around, and there are other things that I want to do. What do we got here? 12:30, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You know what happens? I get a coffee visitor, so I'd have to cut it off early anyway. So thanks for watching, everybody, and all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.